Greetings! I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, and when I'm not displaying subliminal messages that tell you to do horrible things, I'm here at the Wolfula reviewing movies. Well, sort of. It depends on what your definition of a review is. Anyway, I'm gonna review yet another movie from the Halloween franchise, though this review isn't going up on or anywhere near the day of Halloween, and you probably aren't watching this on Halloween either. Just in case, though, Happy Halloween! Alright, now that that sordid business is out of the way, let's move on. The 70s and 80s saw a creative boom in horror films as young filmmakers were entering the industry. Probably one of the most influential horror films of this era was Halloween. Written by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, Halloween possessed many of the elements that became common in horror movies throughout the 80s. You got a masked murder machine who knocks off teenagers when their pants are down. Then, in the final act, you have a final girl that has to fend for herself against the beast. That was pretty much the story of 99.9% of horror movies released in the 80s, though Sleepaway Camp was a real game changer. Flash forward a couple of decades, and we have quite a few remakes of influential horror films, mostly because people have heard their names before. It was only a matter of time until Halloween got a second coming, especially after the series hit its lowest point. So 2007 would see a Halloween remake. Who would be appointed to remake Halloween, a movie that's already sort of been remade countless times? None other than Rob Zombie, rock musician and chronic middle finger raiser. He's also a film writer and director now, I think. Which is weird, since he still uses a stage name. It's like if Mark Wahlberg still went by the name Marky Mark when he started acting. Rob Zombie was a questionable choice to remake Halloween, seeing as how he remade Texas Chainsaw Massacre to mixed results. Maybe Mr. Zombie will have better luck with Halloween. I mean, how can you possibly screw up? Yeah, let's watch. Before we start the film proper, I'd like to remind you all of the innovative opening sequence to the 1978 film. You know, the POV shot of Judith Meyer's murder that ends with the revelation that it was performed by a kindergarten graduate named Michael Myers. A pretty chilling way to open a film, especially since we're given no motivation for this or any of Michael's further killings in the movie. You're left with the scary idea that, for no conceivable reason, anybody you know could decide to snap one day and unrelentingly try to kill you. That's what makes Michael Myers scary. Anybody can be the shape. So, how does Mr. Rob Zombie choose to open his vision of a Halloween film? With a young Michael Myers about to kill his pet rat while also letting the audience know he comes from a dysfunctional borderline redneck family of assholes.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
Oh, I'll get the crutches for you!
In less than 3 minutes, Rob Zombie has firmly established his Michael Myers into a giant cliche that silently walks among us. I wonder if there'll be a scene where Mike carves a swastika in his forehead, just to make his future career choice more obvious. At least Rob Zombie will know enough not to make Michael Myers an annoying brat.
Get your ass downstairs and wash your hands, you little shit. I'm not listening!
Okay, I guess not. Can Donald Pleasance come back to life and shoot this kid 9 times for me, please? Thanks! At breakfast, Rob Zombie discusses with his wife about whether or not Michael is gay.
He's gonna grow up, end up cutting his dick and balls off and changing his name to Michelle.
Then Michael's sister makes a masturbation joke at his expense. Okay, I get it, Mr. Zombie. The only people who grow up to become serial killers are from dysfunctional families. Let's not forget about bullying, though. Leaving out a scene where Michael receives abuse from the other spy kid would be a grave mistake.
I heard your sister got caught selling blowjobs in the bathroom. I heard they had to pump the out of her stomach.
It's clear to me now that Rob Zombie learned how to write dialogue from reading the graffiti on rest stop bathroom walls. Then the principal comes in to prevent Michael's murder, and the boy thanks his rescuer.
Fuck you.
What did you say, son?
I said fuck you.
Man, this kid's asking to get his ass kicked. Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry, takes some time off from the poll to have a meeting with the principal.
I do not enjoy calling you down here every 5 minutes.
Really? It sure seems like you fucking do.
What a classy mom! While this is going on, the older, wider version of Shaft, played by Malcolm McDowell, walks in the room.
Miss Myers, this is Dr. Loomis. I took the liberty of calling him in.
Well, at least they got a good actor to play Dr. Loomis. Though, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie originally wanted to get Sid Haig to play him. The principal proceeds to whip out a bag of dead cat found in Michael's locker. Not a big deal to Sherry, though. So they whip out the pictures.
God.
really sick. Are you saying Michael did this? Michael loves animals.
Yeah, but they usually die mysterious deaths. I mean, seriously. Michael slips away unnoticed with his theme music played awkwardly in the background.
I need to take him through a series of tests.
You can talk to him, but what is evaluating him? What does that
Obviously.
mean?
Is this music really appropriate for a shot of a kid digging through his locker? Michael starts stalking the other spy kid and hits him a bunch with a big stick while yelling. It took him weeks to plan this. We also get shots of the trees as Junie gets murdered. Rob Zombie truly is a cinematic genius. Later on the night of Halloween, Michael is gearing up to go trick-or-treating, but his sister Judith won't accompany him. Instead, she's gonna have sex with some dude that looks like Randall Flagg from The Stand. So we get a montage of Mike sitting on a curb while Sherry Moon Zombie is stripping to the song Love Hurts. Yes, Michael Myers, love does hurt. You know what else hurts? Watching this movie. At least Rob Zombie knows how to write for his wife's acting talents. In fact, I think this scene is inspired by how they met in real life. Judith and the one guy are about to go all the way, but the dude has a surprise for her. A white Captain Kirk mask. So this is the true origin of Michael Myers' mask. He nicked it off a douche who wears it while shagging. So it's pretty much just those fetish masks that look like faces. Awesome. Michael creeps back into his home and eats some generic non-brand candy. Then he decides to satisfy his blood appetite. Michael duct tapes Rob Zombie to his chair and slits the guy's throat. Man, this is how that kid from Home Alone would kill somebody. After finishing the dirty deed, Judith's boyfriend goes downstairs to treat himself to a post-sex sandwich. Michael just beats the SOB with a baseball bat. Everybody knows you don't make a sandwich in a horror movie. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. Michael enters the room of his next target. Oh, now I get it. It's all coming together. Wow, somebody needs to give that mask a haircut. Judith wants to know what the meaning of Michael's intrusion is, but all she gets is silence. Oh, and a knife. Judith casually walks away, but Michael stabs her a bit more while the camera shakes because it's scarier that way, I guess. Then Michael checks up on his little sister, Jamie Lee Curtis. I swear, he's played by Dakota Fanning. Sherry Moon Zombie returns home to find her son innocently sitting on the doorstep. Then we get some artistic sepia-tone footage of the meat wagon carrying off bodies with a reporter comparing the murders to the Manson families. No, this is more like that kid who murdered those 2 burglars on Christmas Eve. What the hell is he looking at? Oh, the time skip text. Never mind. In about a year, Mikey's found himself in the crazy house, Smith's Grove, with his best friend Dr. Loomis. The kid's still played by Jake Lloyd, and he still talks, so we're not quite in the blackest eyes territory yet. Michael does get to meet Danny Trejo while the actor is studying for a role as an asylum janitor, though.
I gotta get back to work. You take it easy, Mikey.
The kid even picks up some arts and crafts, but the dumbass gets schooled by Loomis.
Why is it all black?
Because it's one of my favorite colors.
Well, actually, black isn't a color, is it? It's the absence of color. In the spectrum of colors, you go from black, which is no color, all the way through to white, which is every color. So technically, not that it really matters, but black isn't a color.
The more you know, you little shithead. Lucky for us, Michael starts to shut the fuck up out of fear of sounding more stupid. Only to relapse into being a whiny brat once again.
I'm gonna get out of here! Just let me out!
While looking at lunch, Sherry gives Michael a picture of him and baby Jamie Lee Curtis. She proceeds to leave, and a nurse gives Michael adult supervision. The nurse provides an appropriate observation to make in the company of a mass murderer.
Cute baby. Couldn't be related to you.
Michael somehow overpowers the adult nurse and stabs her with a fork for the body count. Hey, Michael, there's gotta be some truth to what she said, or you wouldn't wear a mask all the time. This little stunt causes Sherry to commit seppuku, leaving a crying Jamie Lee Curtis to fend for herself. Oh good, no more of that fucking kid. Danny Trejo is still studying for that janitor role and even picked up a young acting protege studying for a role as a racist asylum janitor.
You may have worked here for many years, and done all manner of things. And I suppose that's because you're a hard worker. Most of you people are. All your women keep your little bungalows clean, sweep off the dirt floors, keep the papooses in order and all. But I'm my own boss, all right?
They enter an older Michael's cell, and he's somehow become built like a brick shithouse. How do you go from looking like Dakota Fanning to looking like the Frankenstein monster's fitness instructor? Has Smith's Grove been injecting him with military-grade growth hormones? In the original, he was a normal-sized man. Is Rob Zombie overcompensating or what? Well, Ben Kenobi tells the Rastafarian version of Leatherface that they're breaking up.
This is going to be my last day. Michael, I have to move on.
Goodbyes are so hard. Since the breakup, Loomis has written a heavy-handed book about his relationship with Michael and gives an equally heavy-handed college lecture.
Behind these eyes, one finds only blackness, the absence of light. These are the eyes of a psychopath.
This dialogue was only written to be put in trailers. The next part I can't even show. It's an extremely unnecessary rape scene between these rednecks and this mental patient. They do it in Mike's cell, and the big guy escapes while killing them. It's probably the lowest moment in the Halloween series. Yes, it's worse than Trick or Treat, motherfucker. Luckily, the theatrical version does not have Mike escape through the power of uncomfortable asylum rape. So if you can, watch the theatrical version instead. It's still not a good movie, but it's more tolerable than the unrated version. So yeah, after the gratuitous rape scene, Michael is free. He manages to kill everybody, and the only man that can stop Michael now is Machete. Hopefully not the Spy Kids version. Michael materializes behind Danny, and the old guy does the only thing he can do in a poorly written horror movie besides run away. Try to handcuff Michael. Rob Zombie has Mikey kill the only likable character in the movie, first by drowning and then by TV. Sam gets the bad news broken to him over the phone. I'm not entirely sure why. Apparently Loomis is no longer Mike's doctor.
I'm coming right away.
Of course, Michael can't go on a rampage in a robe like some kind of crazy person, so he targets the dad from Kenan and Kel and Dawn of the Dead for clothing needs. Michael approaches the trucker while using the restroom. Mike's methods are polite, but it's Ken here who jumps to pulling out a knife. So it goes without saying that Michael resorts to self-defense with extreme force. It really seems like all Rob Zombie can do with this movie is show everything that wasn't shown in the original movie. It's the next day, and Halloween in Haddonfield. We meet Jamie Lee Curtis again, the baby sister of Michael Myers, who's grown up into a new family and has taken the name Laurie Strode. Unlike the original Laurie, this Laurie is just as dumb and slutty as her friends, but Rob Zombie made the actress wear glasses, so you'll know she'll survive. I guess no matter who raised her, Laurie was destined to be an asshole by genetics. Michael returns to the homestead to get a few things he somehow hid under the basement floorboards as a child. Those things being his knife and trademark mask. Man, the police are thorough in their investigations. Michael spots his little sister dropping some papers off at the old Myers home. He also smells the paper for some reason. I guess he recognized her scent? Fucking weird. At the school library, Laurie is studying with her future daughter Jamie Lloyd and some other girl when she notices a guy staring at her that eventually disappears. This is one imaginative reimagining. Loomis has a chat with the guys running Smith's Grove, who basically blame the doctor for letting Michael escape, even though it's not his job to keep Michael from escaping anyway.
If our security wasn't sufficient, Sammy, you should have warned us.
Whatever, Rob Zombie character logic.
We've given the authorities his complete profile.
2 roadblocks and an all-points bulletin wouldn't stop a 5-year-old.
Okay, now he's just stealing random dialogue from the original movie.
2 roadblocks and an all-points bulletin wouldn't stop a 5-year-old.
Laurie walks home with her friends, and the dialogue is just as one-dimensional as you'd expect. They spot Michael prowling around, but they tell him off. I like how, in the parts of this movie that were in the original, the only major difference is that Michael doesn't drive a car in this version. Laurie continues home on her own, which is a good idea when you're being followed by a man-beast. Now he knows where you live! Good job! Sam Loomis heads to the Haddonfield Cemetery where Michael's mom, Sherry, is buried. The caretaker is played by Sid Haig, the guy who was probably supposed to have Malcolm McDowell's part. Instead of finding Sherry's grave, or even no grave, they find a dead animal slung on a cross. Loomis knows that this is Michael's calling card. Okay, I guess that means it's night. Laurie's especially promiscuous blonde pal takes her significant other out on a night of Casbah rocking. Of course, this is a Rob Zombie movie, so they have to do it in an abandoned house. In this case, the Myers place. Perfect. The young, foolish actors do what Dimension Films paid them to do. The boyfriend gets up afterward to grab some beers. It really seems like every dude in this movie needs a haircut. The guy gets the alcohol and returns in a ghost getup. Michael grabs the young man and kills him the same exact way he did in 1978. Man, it's sad when all the creative murders in your horror movie come from a film that came out 35 years ago. The next scene is another recreation. It's almost the exact same as the murder from the 1978 version, except Michael doesn't strangle her with a phone. He uses his hands instead with the help of shaky cam. Also, it has full frontal softcore porn nudity, which is why I can't show it. I'm not censoring all that. The next scene is Loomis buying a gun. Next scene. Laurie gets picked up by Jamie for babysitting, leaving her parents alone with Michael Myers. No point to it really beyond needing a bigger body count. Dr. Loomis tries to convince Sheriff Brackett to look for Michael, but the asshole just ignores the doctor.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. You come by my office tomorrow.
Tomorrow is too late.
At least the original had the sheriff looking for Michael with Loomis despite being skeptical. Was Rob Zombie's intention just to make dumber versions of the original characters? Laurie and Jamie are babysitting and still being obnoxious. Jamie leaves so she can be in the next sex scene. Loomis is still trying to convince Sheriff Jackass to look for Michael, but the guy still won't budge. So the doctor has to break out his secret weapon, the speech from the original movie.
There was no conscience, no reason. Even in a rudimentary sense of life or death, right or wrong.
After that, they finally become mobile. Jamie is having her sex scene because the movie couldn't just have 2 sex scenes.
Yeah? You're so fucking hot. You wanna fuck me? I hear you say it.
Michael arrives when he hears the porno dialogue. Michael removes the young man from Jamie and she tries to run out topless, only for Leatherface to grab her. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong movie. Jamie tries to fight back against the 12-foot-tall man for some reason, but it doesn't work out, and she gets dragged away to an uncertain fate. Laurie takes Lindsay back to her house where Jamie should have been babysitting the child. Karma's a bitch because they find Jacko's corpse dangling above a naked Jamie covered in red dye. Instead of leaving with her friend, Laurie goes deeper into the house to call 911.
My name's Laurie Strode. I'm at 1987 with Desert Dive.
Well, now Sam and his new best friend know where to go next. Doesn't matter though. Michael decides to attack Laurie after calling the police, and they do the cat and mouse thing. Laurie makes it to Tommy's house without much fuss, but so does Michael. They head inside the upstairs bathroom where they can be cornered just as police arrive. Right before Laurie unlocks the bathroom door for a cop, Michael kills the guy. Great genius. Now you have to ruin another door.
Freeze!
Michael does a quickie on the other cop and returns to grab his little sis. This is pretty much just a suburban version of King Kong at this point. Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Jackass arrive just in... No, wait, Michael pretty much murdered everybody. You win some, you lose some. At least the kids are safe, though Tommy will grow up to become Paul Rudd. Laurie wakes up to find herself in a basement with her deceased friend.
Linda, wake up!
Great choice of dialogue there, Rob Zombie. Well, Laurie asks her dead friend to wake up for a while, and it gives Mike enough time to mentally prepare himself for the family reunion. Michael tries to jog his long-lost sister's memory with a picture of them. Of course, she was 2 since this picture was taken, so we might as well put on the movie Jacob's Ladder. She won't know what's going on either way. Michael unmasks like it'll mean anything. We see his face and discover that he's an unshaven Will Ferrell wearing a wig. I knew it! I always knew it! Laurie subtly reaches for her bro's knife and stabs him with it, allowing her to kind of escape. Since Laurie is being a shitty guest, Michael figures that he's had enough of her bullshit. Laurie reaches sweet freedom, but the dumbass doesn't look where she's going and falls into the drained swimming pool. It's pretty much over now, which is good because this movie has gone on long enough. Of course, Obi-Wan ruins things by shooting his former pupil 3 times.
Oh, Michael!
Sam drags Laurie away from the bad man, and they get in the police car. And don't drive off right away for some reason. Where's Sheriff Jackass? Or the rest of the police force, for that matter? This makes zero sense.
Was that the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, I do believe it was.
Man, Rob Zombie butchered that famous dialogue. Michael wakes up from his nap and continues the earlier routine. Loomis trades places with Laurie, and Mike gives the doc a face hug. There's no way he's coming back for a sequel. No way he does. Laurie has run upstairs in the Myers house for some reason instead of going out the back door when she had the chance. Is this version of Laurie Strode supposed to be incompetent? Well, Laurie's hiding and Michael's looking, blah blah blah. She finds a gun near Loomis's knocked corpse. Michael pinpoints her whereabouts, but is slowed down by Loomis. Wow, this Michael sucks at killing people. I wouldn't be surprised if all the people Michael killed in this movie turned out to still be alive. Michael starts getting more thorough in his search, and soon Laurie falls through the ceiling like a drunk father dressed as Santa on Christmas Eve. She still has a gun, though, and she stands her ground against Michael. So he just tackles her through the wall. Good, they're both dead. Oh, I guess not. Laurie tries to finish Mike off, but all she gets is clicks. Her brother tries to help her with it, and it finally fires. I assume she also kills herself. There's also some home movie footage of Kid Michael, you know, to remind you of that terrible child actor. I mean, to bring the movie full circle. Oh, there's also an alternate ending where the cops shoot a surrendering Michael down like King Kong. He wasn't the police, it was Beauty killed the beast. Whatever, the movie's over either way. Well, that was Rob Zombie's Halloween. It didn't really work for me, clearly. The characters in this movie make Friday the 13th characters seem like fleshed-out super geniuses. I wanted everyone, including Michael, to die. The best part of the movie was when Michael stopped talking. The comparison is obvious, but Michael in this movie just comes off as Anakin in Phantom Menace. I don't want to see Darth Vader in preschool, I want to see Darth Vader. The only new thing in this movie that makes it worth watching is the prequel shit, but it's just annoying because of how obvious it is. You can see the brat will start killing people from a mile away. It's not shocking. I guess if you want a version of Halloween with an unnecessary origin story, more red dot corn syrup, horrible dialogue, annoying actors, inappropriate music, and that Spy Kid, then this Halloween is right up your alley. I give Rob Zombie's Halloween a Dakota Fanning out of Danny Trejo. I never got to see Michael Myers go into space.